It was a quiet night, just like any other. Across the planet, people were going about their lives. Some were binge-watching their favorite shows, others were burning the midnight oil at work, and many were already fast asleep, lost in dreams. No one had any idea that the single greatest moment in human history was about to unfold, and then, in an instant, everything changed. Every screen on Earth went black. Phones, TVs, computers, even the colossal billboards lighting up city squares, all of them flickered and then displayed the same strange symbol, a sharp, silver, and distinctly alien design. A deep, cold voice echoed from every speaker, in every language simultaneously. Humanity, your time is over. Chaos erupted. People froze mid-step. Some screamed, others ran into the streets, craning their necks to the sky. Many thought it was some elaborate prank, a global marketing stunt. But it wasn't a joke. The voice continued, its tone devoid of any emotion. We are the Galactic Empire. We test all emerging species. The weak are subjugated. The strong are eliminated. You will be both. The message ended as abruptly as it began. The symbol vanished. The world was plunged into a deafening silence. For a single, terrifying moment, humanity held its collective breath. But then, something truly unexpected happened. Slowly at first, then spreading like a wildfire, people began to laugh. Not a laugh of joy or relief, but something deeper. It was the laugh of a species pushed to the very edge, the kind of laughter that bubbles up when a situation is too absurd, too immense to comprehend. Laughter is humanity's oldest weapon, a complex cocktail of stress, fear, courage, and sheer defiant madness. It was a response the Galactic Empire had not anticipated. This is what they don't understand about us. We're the species that stared down ice ages and won. We've survived world wars, cataclysmic disasters, and plagues that should have wiped us out. We are dangerous because we adapt, we learn, we evolve. After everything we've been through, there's not much left that can truly scare us. And high above the Earth, hidden in the silent deep space shadows, something began to stir. Ancient machines, dormant for millennia, hummed to life. Old engines ignited, casting a faint red glow across massive, sleeping metal hulls. A colossal human fleet unknown to any modern government, absent from every history book, activated for the first time in ages. No one on Earth built this fleet. Its origin is a complete mystery. Who created it, and why was it hidden away, waiting in the dark? Nobody knows. But as if answering a silent call, the ships awoke. On the bridge of an alien warship, the Empire's sensors screamed with alerts. Technicians scrambled, pointing at readings that made no sense. The Empire's command center studied the data, their officers' faces etched with confusion. This human technology, it was too advanced, too precise, too ancient. A high-ranking general stared at the phantom signatures blooming around Earth and whispered, "Impossible." Their species profile said nothing of this. In perfect, cold silence, the human fleet formed a defensive wall around the planet. There was no panic, no frantic communication. Just the steady, unnerving precision of a predator waiting for its prey to walk into a trap. Inside the flagship, a lone human commander strode onto the bridge. His eyes were calm, his expression unreadable. He looked at the sensor readings, showing the approaching Empire forces, and with a voice as steady as steel, he gave a simple, two-word command. Let them come. What ancient secret has humanity been hiding? Who are these silent guardians in the dark? And what happens when an empire that has conquered galaxies finally meets a species that refuses to be afraid? The stage is set. The real story is just beginning. The Galactic Empire does not wait. Only minutes after delivering their ultimatum, a scout armada slices through the void, heading straight for Earth. Hundreds of sleek, dark vessels, like silent knives, moving with deadly purpose. Their mission is simple: test humanity, measure our fear, break our spirit. The Imperial commanders are confident. They've done this 1,000 times before. They expect the primitive humans to panic, to hide, or to grovel for mercy. They are about to be very, very wrong. The moment their scouts breach the outer edges of our solar system, something happens that defies all their predictions. Humanity's hidden fleet moves, not with caution, not with hesitation, but with a speed and agility the Empire's advanced sensors cannot even track. Like shadows given life, our ships flicker across their screens, shifting positions, forming impossible new patterns, and then vanishing into nothingness. Imperial scanners return only static, no heat signatures, no energy readings, no signals, just an unnerving empty void where a fleet should be. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, the commander frowns, his clawed hand tightening on his console. "Why can't we get a lock on them?" he snarls. Beside him, a junior officer whispers, his voice trembling slightly. "Commander, what if this is what they want? What if they're letting us see nothing?" The commander dismisses the thought, but a seed of doubt has been planted. As the alien scouts push deeper, cautiously now, their sensors pick up a new signal. It's soft at first, a faint, rhythmic pulse, but it grows steadily louder, clearer. It's not a weapon frequency, it's not a surrender plea, it is laughter, human laughter, full of unshakable confidence, full of bold, open challenge. It echoes through the comms of every Imperial ship, broadcast directly from the phantom human fleet. The aliens are stunned into silence. Why would a species on the brink of annihilation laugh? The concept is utterly foreign to them. They don't understand that for humans, laughter isn't a sign of weakness. It's our ultimate act of defiance. It's the sound of our unbreakable spirit. It's our way of looking a tyrant in the eye and saying, "We see your threat, and we are not impressed." Baffled, the Imperial scouts begin to circle Earth, searching for any vulnerability, any crack in our planetary defenses. But what they find instead sends a chill through their cold alien blood. Earth is encased, a colossal energy shield, a shimmering dome of brilliant blue, crackles with a power so immense it distorts the space around it. This is a technology the Empire, with its millennia of conquest, has never encountered. It is something they believed to be impossible. On his bridge, the Imperial commander grips the arms of his command chair. "This cannot be," he rasps. "Their civilization is far too young for this level of power." But the impossible truth hangs there in the darkness before him. Humans possess technology that even the galaxy's most feared empire has only dreamed of. Meanwhile, deep within the command center of the hidden human flagship, our own commander watches the alien scouts on his main view screen. He is the picture of calm, his expression unreadable. He leans forward, his voice steady and filled with quiet authority as he speaks into the fleet-wide communication channel. "Attention, Imperial ships. You have journeyed far to test others. Now, you test us." He pauses, letting the weight of his words sink in across the silent bridges of the enemy fleet. A faint smile touches his lips as he adds, "And you are welcome to test us again. We do enjoy a good surprise." A wave of confusion and anxiety washes over the Imperial armada. They pull back, their perfect formations wavering for the first time. This was not the reaction of a primitive, terrified species. This was the response of a predator. For the first time in their long, bloody history of conquest, the Galactic Empire realizes its mistake. Humanity is not afraid. Humanity is ready. A detailed report flashes back to the Imperial High Command, its contents urgent and alarming. Human technology is unknown. Their behavior is unpredictable. Their confidence is dangerous. The Empire had come to test humanity's breaking point. They never considered that maybe, just maybe, it was humanity that was testing them all along. The Galactic Empire finally received a scout report. They expected good news, perhaps a plea for mercy from the little blue planet called Earth. What they got instead was something they had never seen before in any report from any conquered world. 3 simple words that chilled them to their core. Humans are not afraid. Inside the Empire's massive war hall, the air was thick with tension. Tall walls glowed with ominous red light, illuminating the hundreds of alien officers standing in stunned silence. All of them stared at the main screen, which showed a live feed of Earth, shimmering behind a brilliant, glowing shield. A general with 3 eyes spoke first, his voice a low growl. "Their shield survived our test shot. A blast strong enough to melt a small moon, and it did nothing." Another officer added, his voice trembling slightly. "Their ships ... they move faster than our sensors can track. We detected their scout ships near our capital, and they were gone before we could react." Scans showed their crews were laughing at us. At the head of the hall, the supreme leader of the Empire, a giant creature with cold silver eyes, leaned forward in his throne. His voice boomed, echoing through the chamber. "Then we will crush them. Prepare the main cannon. No more tests, no more warnings." Moments later, the order was carried out. The Empire fired its first real striker, full power energy beam aimed directly at Earth's shield. The beam cut across the blackness of space like a burning spear, so bright it overloaded every camera trying to capture it. On Earth, every human looked up as the sky itself turned brilliant white. And then, nothing. The beam hit Earth's shield and simply disappeared, like a single spark hitting the vast ocean. It didn't even leave a ripple. The Empire officers stared in disbelief. A captain shrieked, "Impossible! How is that impossible?" They fired again, and again. 10 times in a row, they bombarded the planet, each blast stronger than the last. And each blast was completely, utterly useless. Humanity did not fire back. Not yet. On billions of screens, they simply watched the failed light show in their atmosphere. Then, finally, the human fleet moved. It wasn't a fleet. Not really. Just one ship. A single, sleek, black vessel glided forward from behind the moon, silent and smooth, like a predator emerging from the shadows. It took aim at the Empire's largest dreadnought, a ship the size of a city. There was no warning, no grand declaration, just one small shot, a quiet, thin beam of serene blue light. It gently touched the hull of the Empire dreadnought, and the entire alien ship disintegrated in seconds. There was no explosion, no fire, no debris. It just turned to fine dust, floating silently in the void. Back in the Empire's war hall, chaos erupted. Officers jumped from their seats, their voices burning with a new emotion. Fear. What is that weapon? How did humans build this? This is not their normal technology. Inside the human flagship, the commander watched the dust cloud on his screen. He didn't celebrate. He didn't even smile. He simply whispered to himself, "Now they understand." The Empire immediately ordered a full retreat of their first line of ships. They needed time. They needed answers. Desperate, their analysts began digging through all of humanity's history, trying to understand who these strange, defiant creatures really were. They expected to find a history of weakness and chaos, but what they found was far more terrifying. They saw that humans don't just endure danger, they grow stronger from it. They saw that humans learn faster than any species the Empire had ever catalogued. They saw that humans never, ever stop adapting. When humans are pushed to the brink, they evolve. A chilling realization began to spread through the Empire's high command. They had not just provoked a minor species on an insignificant planet. They had awakened something ancient and powerful, something they could not possibly control. And as the Supreme Leader stared at the image of the lone human ship, a final, horrifying question echoed in his mind. Did we just create our own enemy? The Empire's grand assault faltered, sputtering into silence. Then, something new flickered to life across every Imperial monitor, from the bridge of the flagship to the handheld displays of ground troops. A single, unified broadcast. There was no static, no distortion, just a clear, calm human voice, speaking with an unnerving, almost friendly tone. "We know you don't understand us," the voice began. "You've studied countless species, you've tested them, broken them. You expected us to shatter, you expected fear. But humans, we don't break like the others. We laugh instead." On the Imperial command deck, the alien commanders leaned closer, their mandibles clicking in confusion. One whispered to its subordinate, "There," explaining their counterattack with words. The human broadcast continued, its placid tone a stark contrast to the images of battle it described. "When we're afraid, we laugh. When we're in danger, we smile. In the middle of a war, we tell jokes. You see, you fundamentally misunderstood our nature. Fear isn't a weakness for us. It's a catalyst. It sharpens our minds. It hones our senses. Danger is the fuel for our fire." The screens shifted, showing human starships moving into a terrifyingly precise formation. They were calm, efficient, deadly, and through their coms, you could hear the faint sound of laughter. The pilots were smiling. An Imperial officer, his composure finally cracking, slammed his fist on a console. "That's impossible. Every species in the known galaxy feels fear. Fear is the great divider, the breaker of wills. But we are not like the others," the voice on the screen gently corrected. "Your threats don't demoralize us. They awaken something within us. Every attack you've launched, every test you've devised, every challenge you've thrown our way, it has only made us better, faster, smarter, stronger. You have been our greatest trainers, and for that, we thank you." A creeping dread began to fill the Imperial command center. They scanned the human fleet for any sign of weakness. There were no leaders trembling in their bunkers. There was no chaos in their ranks, no panicked chatter. The humans moved as one, a unified consciousness, laughing as they faced what should have been certain annihilation. For the first time in its long, brutal history, the Empire confronted a terrifying truth. Humanity was a variable it could not calculate. Humanity could not be intimidated. Humanity could not be broken. The broadcast reached its climax. The image changed to a close-up of a human commander. His eyes were steady, his voice unwavering, yet filled with a profound and ancient weariness. You can try to destroy us. You can try to enslave us, but you will fail. Not because we are stronger, or smarter, or better armed. You will fail because we do not fear you, and that is why you can never win. The broadcast ended. The Imperial Command Center fell into an abyss of silence. Not a single alien spoke. Not one officer moved. The only sound was the phantom echo of human laughter, a sound that now resonated not with mirth but with doom. For the first time, the Empire understood fear, because now it was theirs. The Galactic Empire hesitated. For the first time in millennia, the conquerors of 1,000 worlds debated amongst themselves in hushed, anxious tones. Was retreat a safer option than attack? The thought was shameful, a stain on their legacy. Their pride, a force as strong as any superweapon, was too great. They could not, would not, back down. Meanwhile, the human fleet moved, not slowly, not with the cautious probing of a lesser species. They advanced with a terrifying precision, a relentless purpose that sent shivers through the Empire's command structure. Humans didn't conquer planets, they liberated them. On countless alien worlds groaning under the weight of imperial rule, the arrival of the human fleet was not an invasion, but a storm of pure, unadulterated hope. Slaves, serfs, and oppressed species watched from their hovels and work camps as human forces dismantled the architecture of their suffering. The change was swift, surgical, and devoid of the cruelty that had defined their lives for generations. Imperial fleets scrambled to intercept this audacious advance. Battle groups warped in, bristling with energy cannons and guided by centuries of combat doctrine. But every single time, the humans were faster, smarter, sharper. They moved as one entity, guided by a singular, unified mind. They anticipated every feint, countered every tactic, and exploited every weakness before the Imperial commanders even realized they had one. In the dimly lit war rooms of Imperial destroyers, decorated officers began to whisper. Their confidence, once as solid as the armor of their warships, was cracking. How do they fight like this? One would ask, his voice barely audible. How can one species, so new to the galactic stage, do so much damage? Another would murmur, staring at the holographic displays that showed nothing but human victories. The truth was simple, yet profoundly terrifying for an empire built on predictability and control. Humans were chaotic. They learned from every engagement, adapting their strategies in real time. Every failure, every loss, every imperial attack didn't weaken them, it made them stronger, smarter, and more dangerous. They were a living, evolving weapon. But something even more alarming was happening, a trend that sent true panic through the Imperial High Command. Alien leaders, once loyal subjects of the Empire, began to notice the human spirit. They saw human soldiers laughing in the face of overwhelming odds, smiling at threats that would make a seasoned warrior tremble, and fighting with a ferocity that bordered on joyful. These subjugated species started to believe. They started to see that if humanity was on your side, there was always hope. And so, they began to join them, first a trickle, then a flood. Rebel cells, planetary militias, even defecting Imperial units began flocking to the human banner. Inside the command bridge of the human flagship, the Indomitable, the commander watched the galaxy map ignite with new allies. He did not celebrate. He did not shout triumphant orders. A quiet, knowing smile touched his lips as he watched star systems flip from hostile red to friendly blue. He leaned forward, his voice a low, steady hum that resonated with absolute confidence. "Keep moving," he said. "Let them see what humanity can do." Across the Empire, the panic escalated. They were no longer just fighting the human military. They were facing the very spirit of humanity itself. Contagious, unbreakable will to be free. The Empire came to test humanity, but humanity is now teaching the galaxy a lesson they will never forget. The Galactic Empire's high command was in chaos. Leaders who had once exuded absolute confidence now gathered in a state of barely concealed panic. Their faces were pale, their voices strained. Reports were flooding in from every corner of their vast territory, each one more unbelievable than the last. Entire battle cruisers, the pride of their fleet, had vanished in a single, devastating strike. On dozens of conquered worlds, Imperial soldiers were laying down their arms, surrendering to human forces rather than fighting. Worse still, alien worlds that had been crushed under the Empire's heel for centuries were now rising up in open rebellion, inspired by humanity's impossible resistance. No one understood. No one could explain it. How could a species they had deemed primitive, a species they had planned to conquer in a matter of weeks, suddenly command such power? The Empire's greatest strategists ran simulations, analyzed battle data, and came up with nothing. It was as if humanity had pulled a ghost fleet from the void itself. Then, a discovery was made. A deep space probe, fleeing a losing battle, stumbled upon a hidden data archive, adrift in the blackness between stars. It was ancient, human, and buried for millennia. As Imperial cryptographers frantically decoded the files, a chilling truth began to emerge. The unstoppable fleet that now haunted their every move was not a product of modern humanity. It was far, far older. It was built thousands of years ago by a human civilization that existed long before recorded history, a civilization so advanced they had foreseen an invasion from the stars. They had predicted the arrival of an enemy, just like the Empire. In secret, these ancient humans had forged weapons and developed technology that surpassed even the Empire's most advanced systems. The archives spoke of a guardian fleet, a final defense hidden away, designed to lie dormant until the day humanity was truly ready to wield it. Every weapon, every ship, every strategic protocol was tailored to fight an enemy overwhelmingly superior to anything humanity had ever faced. The Imperial generals read the translated records in stunned horror. They weren't fighting a new, scrappy human navy. They were fighting the accumulated genius and fury of humanity's entire history, past and present combined. In the silent command center, a decorated general, a veteran of 100 campaigns, whispered to himself, his voice trembling with a terrifying realization. We underestimated them. Everything we knew, every strategy, every advantage, it's all useless. Meanwhile, light years away on the bridge of his flagship, the human commander did not celebrate the Empire's panic. He watched the star charts, his expression calm and resolute. He knew the truth was dawning on them. He knew the Empire was finally beginning to understand the magnitude of their mistake, but he also knew their pride. They were too arrogant, too committed to their ideology of conquest, to simply retreat. They would not accept defeat. And so, the final moment of this chapter arrived. The remnants of the Imperial fleet, battered but not yet broken, gathered for one last, desperate, all-or-nothing assault. They were preparing their ultimate strike, hoping to shatter humanity's resolve with sheer brute force. Across the galaxy, all eyes turned to this final confrontation. The cosmos itself seemed to hold its breath. But on the human ships, there was no fear, only a quiet, unwavering readiness. They waited, silent and prepared, for the storm to break. The Empire had come to challenge humanity, to bring them to their knees. But in their arrogance, they had awakened something they could never, ever control. The Galactic Empire gathered its full strength for one final, devastating strike. A fleet of unprecedented size, a weapon forged from the Empire's collective might, surged through the void. Its target, the last hidden bastion of humanity. Every warship bristled with weaponry. Every commander's heart burned with a singular purpose, to annihilate the human race once and for all. They expected fear, they expected desperation. What they found was something else entirely. Humanity was ready, not with anger, not with hate, but with an unnerving calm, a chilling precision, and laughter. As the Imperial Armada warped into the system, they were met with a breathtaking sight. The human fleet, though smaller, formed a perfect, unbroken circle, an island of light in the vast darkness. Their energy shields shimmered with quiet power, their weapon systems charged with a soft, steady hum, and their engines thrummed in unison, like 1,000 hearts beating as one. Across the silent expanse, a single voice broadcast from the human flagship, cutting through the tension. The human commander spoke, his words echoing in every Imperial bridge. The Empire came to test humanity. Now, you face our answer. a profound silence fell. Even the battle-hardened Imperial admirals paused, their confidence faltering in the face of this strange, serene defiance. They had prepared for a fight, for screams and chaos, not this tranquil readiness. Then, humanity did the unthinkable. Instead of firing the first shot, they offered a choice. "Join us." The commander's voice resonated again. "The galaxy is big enough for all." The offer hung in the void, a final chance for peace. But for the Empire, pride was a fortress and fear its gatekeeper. Their leaders, trapped by generations of conquest, refused. The moment for words had passed. The battle began. It was not a battle, it was a symphony of destruction. It was fast, it was bright, it was lethal. Imperial ships, monuments to galactic domination, erupted into silent firestorms, their metal skins peeling away like burnt paper. Overwhelmed and terrified, alien soldiers threw down their arms and surrendered by the thousands. Every maneuver the human fleet executed was flawlessly calculated, yet seemed utterly effortless, like a master dancer moving across a cosmic stage. You see, the Empire never understood. Humans don't fight for conquest. Humans fight to protect, to survive, and to set others free. They meet the abyss with a steady gaze, and they laugh in the face of danger. And when humanity laughs, danger itself learns to run. When the last flash of exploding plasma faded, the human fleet stood untouched, their circular formation unbroken. Not a single ship lost, not a single human life extinguished. The once mighty Imperial fleet, now a shattered wreck, retreated in chaos and disbelief, their pride crushed, their legend broken. That day, a new story began to spread across the galaxy, whispered in 100 different languages, on 1,000 different worlds. Humans laugh at danger, and the universe itself trembles before their courage. On the bridge of his flagship, the human commander gazed out at the star-dusted canvas of space. A small, knowing smile touched his lips as he whispered to the cosmos, "We survived, we thrived, and we will keep laughing, no matter who comes next." The legend of humanity had just begun, and its echo would resonate across the stars forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter. The Great War is over. The Galactic Empire, once an iron fist clenched around 1,000 stars, has finally broken. Its fleets, once symbols of absolute power, are now just scattered embers, drifting in the cold darkness of space. They retreat, not with a roar, but with a whimper. Across the galaxy, a strange silence falls. There are no victory cries echoing from human throats, no triumphal marches through ruined cities, no gloating over a vanquished foe. The expected celebrations never came. Why, you might ask? Why don't they celebrate their hard-won freedom? To understand, you must understand humanity. They never fought for conquest. Their goal was never to replace one empire with another. They fought for a far more fundamental reason: survival. They fought to protect the innocent, to shield the weak, and to inspire hope where none existed. Their wars were not campaigns of aggression, but acts of galactic self-defense. Think of their laughter on the battlefield. It was never the sound of mockery. It was the sound of courage, a defiant roar in the face of annihilation. It was a promise to each other and to the universe that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit would not be extinguished. It was the sound of a species that had stared into the abyss so many times, they had learned to greet it with a smile. And now, in the wake of the Empire's fall, the true victory is revealed. It's not in the wreckage of enemy ships, but in the dawn breaking over once suppressed worlds. Alien civilizations, long silenced under the Empire's boot, are finding their voices again. They are rising, not as subjects, but as equals, free to choose their own destiny. Planets that were once scarred battlegrounds are beginning to heal. Ancient cultures, driven to the brink of extinction, are experiencing a renaissance. Across the stars, humans are no longer seen as just fierce warriors. They are symbols of resilience, beacons of hope. Far from the newly liberated systems, a hidden fleet returns home. Thousands of ships, the guardians of humanity, emerge from hyperspace and form a silent vigil in orbit around a small blue world. Earth. The commander stands on the bridge of his flagship, gazing down at the swirling clouds and shimmering oceans. The planet looks so peaceful, so fragile. It's a sight they fought and bled for. A profound quiet settles over the bridge, a moment of calm after a storm that raged for generations. The commander's voice is low, thoughtful, filled not with pride, but with a deep sense of responsibility. "We are only beginning," he says, his words meant for his crew, and perhaps for the universe itself. "The galaxy is vast, and we will meet its challenges, as we always have, together and without fear." His words ripple outwards, a sentiment carried on subspace channels and in the hearts of all who hear it. A new legend is being born, whispered in the crowded spaceports of newly freed systems and in the hallowed halls of ancient alien councils. The whispers tell of a strange and remarkable species, a species that laughs in the face of death, a species that only grows stronger when threatened, turning every crisis into a crucible that forges them into something greater. A species called humans. The whispers conclude with a single, awe-filled realization: they are unstoppable. Our final view is of a lone human vessel, a scout ship drifting through the endless stars. Its navigation lights pulse, a soft, reassuring red against the velvet black. The gentle hum of its engines is a lullaby in the vast emptiness. And then, carried across the void, a sound. It's faint at first, but unmistakable. The sound of a child's laugh, echoing from within the ship. A sound of pure, unadulterated joy. A sound of life. The galaxy listens, and it remembers. This isn't the end. This is a new beginning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the stars.